Yay.
Hello and welcome. I am Ronnke, your GM, and joining me today, in order of their character avatars, we have Nosh, Mel, FX Engineer, Gigaman, and Rigel Kent. Today we embark on our Star Wars campaign titled Vanguard using the very awesome and versatile GURPS system by Steve Jackson Games. Not everyone can watch the live stream, but worry not, our sessions are available on YouTube and as audio-only podcasts. You can find the links in the video description. If you find our content appealing and engaging, we kindly request that you show your support by liking this video and subscribing to our Twitch and YouTube channels. Before we dive into the action, does anyone have any character business they'd like to address?
Yes.
No.
Yep.
Sure.
All right. Nosh.
Nope.
So Daryl was going to put a point into Beam Weapons Heavy Blaster.
Beam
Weapons Rifle.
A rifle. And he's going to put a 4 points into Bowcaster to bring it up one level, I believe.
Yep. So you like the big bang bang gun?
I sure did.
Cool. That's fine.
And that's all.
Mel, you had some stuff you wanted to do.
Yes. Tina also really liked the big gun, so I would also like to put a point into the beam weapons rifle.
Was it that or was it Gunner?
The last week it was a rifle because she grabbed a is it carbine? Carbine.
Oh, right. Does that mean everybody has that now?
Bloody well should.
I suppose that was bound to happen.
Well, it certainly makes taking out stormtroopers easier. Yeah, that's fine.
All right, thanks. That's all.
Who else had some character business?
Well, speaking of rifles, I have officially at this point incorporated the carbine into my computer system, so I'll have the targeting software on it and the laser sight and all that crap, which I did not have last time because I forgot to actually do that. I didn't want to do it in the middle of the mission. But the other thing, character business that I needed to clear up was I discovered I have no idea where I was going with this character as far as his future goes. So I think what I'm probably going to do with him is start heading in a spy direction, sort of intel gathering. And that means I'm expecting to be leaning toward an infiltrator template.
I
As
kind
far
of
as the
figured that
skills
for
go.
Nim anyway. That's the idea I had for Nim. He was like a infiltrator thief.
Yeah, so I may be trying to beef up skills in that general direction. One character thing I wanted to do was have in the downtime have Nim start getting with luck and learn soldier, among
Get
other
them
things.
back
But
at Trooper.
Okay. I do have a clarification for Nim. Your long-term goal of trying to find out who killed your father, or who was the guy responsible for your father's death, how publicly known is that? At least, within the people that you're interacting with. Have you been asking around, or anything like that?
I don't know. Hadn't really considered it that far.
I suppose at this point, your character knows that it was a stormtrooper from the 336th, which is
It's always the 336th.
which is garrisoned here. I don't know if you've ever made the connection that Luck is from that garrison.
Well,
Yeah,
he
we-
wasn't a stormtrooper, though.
Yeah, he was for like 9 months.
Oh, was he? Well, I take that back. No, I wasn't aware of that. Well, maybe he learned that in the process of learning soldier.
So you're undecided on, how much others know that you're interested in that information. So you've kept that pretty much to yourself at the moment. So it's very much a private goal. You haven't asked around.
I'm gonna say that is true until it's probably easier just to say that is the case. Yeah.
Okay.
And then I can come out with it when I come out with it.
And that's Nim's character business done.
Yeah, I think so.
Any business for Luck?
Not at this time, no.
And FX Engineer, you didn't have anything.
I don't have anything for today, but I did want to mention that I am saving up my points. It's my intent to raise up one of my attributes. So I don't know if there's something that I need to do for that when the time comes.
You need to save and spend your points, that's it.
Okay.
Which attribute are you beefing up?
Well, right now I'm thinking dexterity. But maybe intelligence. But right now I'm thinking dexterity because for all the dexterity based skills like stealth and combat, stuff like that.
All right, cool. Okay, well, if there's nothing else, any other bookkeeping? If not, we'll get started. All right, we will be beginning episode 3, Legacy of Ruin. Nosh, when you're ready, and you can't see the crawl at the moment.
Nope, I can't.
All right, so when you see the crawl, that is your cue.
Righto.
You didn't let him pre-read, did you?
Episode 3, Legacy of Ruin. Frustrated by the events at Pallas, Imperial Administrator Krytal, under the direct instruction of Moff Karsh Panaka, has implemented curfews and stationed additional troops in the cities of Fantine. The Moff wants all insurgency crushed before it can threaten the production of Mercosite and delay the Empire's plans. With little information about those responsible for the actions at Pallas, Administrator Krytal has contracted the services of the famous investigator Nara Tauni to track down and identify the insurgents. The curfews and additional Imperial scrutiny have impacted the status quo and relative freedoms experienced by criminal elements of Minerva City's lower levels. Tensions are high and some are desperate.
Thank you, Nosh. All right. We will begin with Luck. You are watching. You are in the bar, your regular haunt, watching the pod races, and over the news you have heard, and it's been current affairs for quite some time. You have heard news that the Imperial work efforts to repair and re-establish the environmental controls and such or environmental shields at Pallas have suffered a severe setback as terrorists caused significant damage to Pallas itself, destroying infrastructure, rendering Pallas much further behind schedule as expected. It could be a very long time before Pallas can be re-inhabited. Of course, you would know this is just a cover, and you know that it is a cover. And in the news it's reported that several of the local Pallas workers were killed in these terrorist activities by insurgents on Fantine. The Empire seeks to put an end to this, and as such has instilled these curfews, and you are seeing the presence of Imperial troops far more frequently around the place. There is many inspections. Things don't come in and out of the cities without at least some scrutiny. From your more, I guess, informed sources, you are led to believe that the Empire conducted a large strike on Pallas and eliminated the problem of the locals there. So instead of just hunting them down, they just started destroying large sections of the city.
Not a surprise.
And then, of course, blamed it on you guys.
So, following up on that, we had several captives that we were talking about using Bosco's contact with Bree to turn over. Did that go anywhere?
You did. You managed to get those captives out and to another another source. What's happened with them? You're not sure. It was just handed over, and you've not heard anything yet.
The only other thing that I can think of that might be of use is gun camera footage showing the hideous, stuffs in the labs.
I'm assuming that you've turned all that over as well.
Right.
Yeah, we had a pretty good view of it on Tina's droid.
I don't know whether your character's intention is to counter the official story, maybe start leaking or starting a conspiracy with...
Oh yeah, they've got that thing in social engineering for that, don't they?
I don't know if that's attention that you want to bring to yourselves, or you just want to let the Empire think that they've got it under control. Something that you'll have to work out yourselves.
Well, I think it makes sense to start leaking some of that footage, whether it's tied to us or not.
You do know that there were some captives taken when they came in and wiped out the remaining they're not exactly insurgents, but those that chose to hold out in Pallas. You know that some captives were taken. As to what's happening with them, where they are, you're not sure. It is not public knowledge that the administrator Krytal has hired this investigator, but you have heard through sources that there's someone asking around, asking questions that are probably a little less comfortable for you guys than you'd like.
Yeah, Gonna have to probably coordinate with likely Bosco and Nim to track down that individual. Probably gonna have to assassinate somebody.
So
That won't make things bad at all, will it?
do we have a concern that if they've taken captives, if we know they've taken captives, we pretty much met most of the people who were there. Like they've seen our faces and stuff. So
yeah, I was sort of contemplating that myself as well. Yeah, let's see. Bosco has the Novasec contact, so the next time I coordinate with him, I'm gonna probably have him maybe ask around, see if they have any idea where they're being held. We may have to be raiding an Imperial detention facility, guys. It'll be great.
Bosco's super excited. Yeah, and also for the I think what Ronnke was saying about the proper, we could do. I don't have the skill, but we could put points into it, or put money into it to raise it. Is propaganda.
Yeah, that would kind of make sense from your standpoint.
That would be actually kind of amusing because I don't think we have ever used propaganda for that sort of thing. It's just not something that's never come up.
So.
Well, this is kind of the campaign for that.
Yep.
But if you do like counter propaganda, then the Empire is going to get more pissed off. So that's a consequence of that.
Well, I'm not here to be their friend.
I think if we did the propaganda or whatever it is that we actually did, if we had like an objective, so like if we're doing propaganda because we want to have the current leader deposed or something like that, whoever the administrator is, rather than just
whispering campaign,
or to give us bonuses on our, kind of like the bad from, I think, is it Monster Hunters or Adventure? Yeah.
I don't know if you've read the information on the administrator, but there are rumors that the administrator has his own agenda that sort of circulate. He's not here just for the Imperial goals. He has his own plan. That's the rumor, at least.
I think if we had a goal for our psyops, it would be to undermine the Imperial authority here, to weaken them.
So this might not be doable, but what I'm thinking might be fun would be to, if we could get a picture or in some kind of picture of the person
like
who's trying to ask it. Well, a picture of the person who's asking the questions, and like hack in a fake celebrity, like hack them in as like a fake celebrity so that they can't go anywhere without like a potential crowd of people following them around.
That would be kind of hilarious. But we probably don't know about that guy.
Well, we've heard rumors that there's somebody asking questions. We just would have to find out who it is and get a picture.
I would let you find out some information if you could give me a streetwise roll or a good IQ roll. Say IQ -4 roll.
Anyone in particular, or you want to machine gun it?
I have a 12 in streetwise. I don't know if anybody's better.
Well, you said to try to find out who that person is.
Yeah.
I have a 14 in streetwise. We can also 16. Yeah, and then you could also, so I could do maybe a complimentary check for you, and we could also spend some money to kind of like count for bribes and whatnot, hush money and contacts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just assume like the folks with the higher skill go for it. I've only got a 12.
Well, if you want to handle the money side of that and pop
Well,
a
I've got a
bonus in
7.
here.
What I don't have the social engineering book, but I can't remember what the like a +1 is a percentage of the cost of living, +2.
Yeah. Well, the problem is we don't know who we're actually talking to be able to apply that.
Well,
Yeah,
how about I
carousing, don't you?
spend? I do. Yeah.
You do carousing and potentially just get a blanket +2 on that.
The average cost of living is $650, but it's not cost of. I don't think it's based off cost of living. I think it's based off monthly income, and the monthly
Right.
income for this tech level is 3,000 something.
Remember, Pantene is TL10, not 11.
Right, so the monthly income will be a little bit less. So, unfortunately, I don't have the basic set easily accessible. So someone else would have to look at
Well,
What kind of
if you
GM
want
is that?
we could spend a second to look it up, or I could just say, hey, I'll put in like 5,000 creds or something like that, or whatever number.
that. It'll be at least
Sounds
a
right.
+1. You might be at +2. We'll see if it matters.
Okay. So let's so Bosco will spend up to $5,000. Well, he'll give it to Nim because Nim's the one doing the asking.
So Nim's going to spend up to 2,000 credits.
And
yeah.
And I think then Bosco will try to do just a complimentary check. Is that okay? Can we do that? To give you a +1.
Yep.
Oops, I double clicked by accident. And I failed by 1. Crap. Sorry.
You should have taken the bribes.
I'm gonna do my luck.
Is 5,600 typical monthly pay.
All right, so give me just one more roll since you already rolled a second time.
Might as well use my luck early on.
So 5,600 is the monthly at tech level 10.
Yep.
Okay, so you'll need to spend a little bit more for a +1.
Okay, so 5,600. I'll take that off of my character sheet and give it to Nim for spending for bribes and whatnot.
If that is what the +1, I don't know what if it's +1 for a month's income, or is it more?
If you want.
Oh no, it's not a full month's income.
So you might have more pluses there. Anyway, Tina, give me that roll. You will be at least +2.
No,
I thought Nim was
I was
rolling.
going to make a roll.
Oh, well,
I thought Nim was
whoever's
doing
making the rolls.
Money talks. A cash bribe should be about the equivalent to 1 day's income for a +1 bonus, 1 week's income for a +2, 1 month's for a +3, and 1 year's for +4. So that's +2 at the very least. If he did the full 5,600, that's +3.
You got lots.
He didn't need to spend that much money. We were just looking for a little
He's
bit.
a rich guy. He doesn't really think about it. Okay, yeah, true. He gave you 5,600, so you can go, I don't need to spend all of this.
Yeah, I think that's how he would think about it. So if you want to pocket the difference,
however that works,
Bosco would know about it.
Depends how honest Nim is.
He's a thief. He's not honest.
So what would the +1 have been?
A day's income.
So 5,600 is a month. 186.
Wow, you made some money there, Nim.
So say I spent what's the next one?
A week.
A week.
+2.
So 7 times that, that's 1,400. So say I spend 1,400 of that, I get a +2, so that's +3 total, which puts us up to success by 10, which is a margin crit.
Okay, so the information that you find out. Firstly, Bosco. Your anxiety has raised a little as you have learnt that an investigator operating on an official capacity has been into the offices of your family's business and has been asking around in relation to some medical supplies that were found or in use at Pallas.
Right.
And they were branded your family's business and were at least potentially sourced from your family business. The person that's been asking is this person.
Oh yeah, there you go. You need to
Oh,
seduce her.
I think I need to set up an appointment right away.
From what you've
Nara, tell me.
Bring her back from the dark side, so to speak.
From what you've heard, she's very thorough, has lots of questions, and seems to ask all the right ones, without giving up much of her own intel.
What faction did you say she's from? The Imperials or the?
She's private, but she's operating with the authority of the Imperial government or your Imperial overlords, since Fantine is effectively under martial law.
I don't know which skill check might be appropriate to see if she. I know you. Whatever reputation she may have, what do I know about her?
She's given contact details. In her circles, she is quite famous. She's like the Sherlock Holmes of the galaxy. Maybe not to the caliber of Holmes, but yeah, she has a bit
Maybe
of a
just
reputation.
a sector.
Was she asking for me specifically, or just about the drugs being used?
Just about the drugs, and who has bought these drugs, what shipments have been going where, and then where and when, and all that sort of stuff.
Okay.
Nim, in addition to finding information on her, your details are a little bit more comprehensive. So you successed by lots. She has been asking around places, some of the bars and whatnot, and she has been accompanied by this guy every time that she's sort of visiting, wherever she goes.
Gonna have to shoot him, I think.
The thorn on the rose.
He seems to be her shadow, assistant, bodyguard, thug, whatever the relationship is. But those two, when operating around the place, tend to be together. And yeah, you have those details. Is there anything in particular you wanted to know about them?
I guess that's for the people who were originally asking.
Bosco would like to know, is she
He wants to
like
know
a
how much sizes are.
Is she like a patriot, or is she in it for the money? Like, can she be bought? Can she be persuaded, or is she kind of like one of those people that just sticks to her values and her morals and her job?
Unfortunately, that's something that you do not know. You would have to try and ascertain that through other means.
Got to pump her for information, 007.
I think everybody has a price.
Disagree.
But you do know,
Well,
you don't know for certain, but you suspect that she's only been contracted to find identities and information. She's not there to eliminate or anything. She will report her findings back to Ares, and then he will act on it.
well,
Actually, just saying that that's a good part of the question we need to determine is whether or not she has any actual authority to do anything other than report.
You would imagine that she doesn't. Your gut would tell you that she doesn't have any authority to do anything, but she can certainly say, "Okay, your people are here. Bring the pain." But she won't get involved.
Social engineering, page 28. Romance.
Or we could make her disappear. Well, I don't think Bosco's quite gone that far down the dark side yet. He has nothing to hide, of course. He
That's a
will.
lie. You got lots to hide.
He's gonna, through the proper channels and whatnot, reach out to her and say, "Hey, I heard you got some questions about my family business. Happy to answer any questions you may have."
All right. Well, she has left her calling card with your company, and getting in touch with her is not a problem at all. She's happy to meet you at your family business's offices for an interview.
I could totally set up to be a sniper and take her out while she's going in.
No, Bosco wanted to take her out.
Oh, true.
Well, Bosco shares with the team, his intent.
Is Bosco overconfident?
He's, I was going to say, I don't remember if he's overconfident. Let me check. He's not overconfident as a advantage or disadvantage. Oh, no, you're right. He is. He is overconfident. 12 or less.
Crap, that means you might not even bother telling us about any of this. You got this covered.
Give me a roll on your overconfidence.
I will tell you guys, but I will tell you, you know what? I got this. I'm just going to blow a bunch of smoke up her ass. She won't even know anything.
She could be better than you.
Whatever.
Yeah. Nobody's better than Moscow. I don't think I have that set up as a roll. Should I just roll 12? Should I just roll 3d6?
Yeah, 3d6.
How do I do that? Sorry.
Just
I got
right
1d6.
click on the 6 and then select 3.
Oh, there you go.
All right, you don't have to be overconfident.
But you can be.
I am. He's like, I got this. She's just, cute little girl. I've been doing this a long time. Nobody can resist my charm.
I want to set up a sniper's perch somewhere nearby in case I have to shoot her.
So Bosco gives you you'll hear a message from Bosco saying, I told her everything. She knows everything. I'm sorry. And then you have to shoot her as she walks out.
And then tragically gets shot in the head. I leave a calling card for the course. Was it the Crimson Corsairs?
All right, so you can do that. You can. She's happy to meet with you. Is there anyone else that's doing anything?
I think I am serious about wanting to set up a potential spot where he can engage as necessary.
Since his family businesses are in the upper levels,
Ooh,
security
yeah.
is going to be
Damn it.
tight.
Yeah.
So
Not going to be able to do that. Well, this will be interesting then. It's all riding on Bosco.
Well, I would give Luck, access to our
No, but
office,
it's like
anything that he needs.
it's just getting to the upper levels, because I'm not going to go in there without my kit, and they're not going to let me come in on with my kit. They're going to have checkpoints all over the place.
Well, we
You
may
mean
have to.
checkpoints in the city, not like in
Yeah.
my building, but in the actual city.
Right.
Oh, I see.
and increased troopers patrols and stuff.
Well, we may have to do some hoop jumping, but we should probably put her operation under some kind of observation to the extent that we can.
Do we have any kind of tracking device that I can slip in on her?
Oh, that'd be nice. You may have to fetch one. You could see if she wants to buy a used Scout Walker.
Which reminds me, what did you end up doing with the Corsair's ship? Was it scrapped? Or is it just in the scrapyard?
Scrap it. I'm guessing we're gonna have to have some place where we can hide these things.
So perhaps it's in the scrapyard. The paint job has been, it's been stripped of paint, so it looks not like the Corsair ship. May have been used for some parts.
What I'd probably do is not store it in the family ship scrapyard, but find another place related, like uncle's scrapyard in orbit, or somebody else's scrapyard, and keep it there so it's not directly traceable. But something like that, yeah.
Okay. And I assume you've found a place to hide the walker. It might be some ways off.
Yeah, similar. And I was somewhat serious about possibly disassembling it to some degree so that it's not immediately recognizable.
All right. Does Daryl play holo chess?
Absolutely.
Does Tina like her arms?
Absolutely.
If you have the skill, was it games?
Absolutely not.
Hobby skill, is it hobby skill games or something like that?
No, it's games.
So games. So if you have the skill games, you can roll it. Otherwise, it would probably default to IQ -5 or IQ -4.
Yeah, IQ -4.
Yeah,
IQ -4.
yeah, depending. Which reminds me, Daryl needs the wrench limb technique out of wrestling or whatever.
So it's IQ
So-
minus 4.
IQ minus
Yep.
4.
Is this everybody or just for that roll?
Those two.
You're just screwing
Oh.
around.
Ooh,
Oh,
so
no.
Tina won. Does Daryl have bad temper?
Let's see. What do I have here? Workaholic, squeamish, selfless, berserk, but not bad temper.
Berserk.
Tina gets to keep her arms, I guess.
Yay.
She'd look funny without him anyway.
Yeah.
You could get some cool robot arms.
Why wait?
Okay, so while Nim and Bosco are off doing their thing, I guess Luck, Tina, and Daryl are hanging about somewhere, just chillaxing, working out, what's going on. There's an unwelcome heat at the moment. Tina, you have been examining this finding that you picked up at Pallas. You're just sort of looking over it. You feel some sort of connection to this, and it's more than a curiosity.
More than a feeling?
Yeah, it is more than a feeling. While you're sort of tossing it in this chunk of ore with some crystal in it, tossing it around your fingers and sort of examining, Bull, the droid,
Explodes.
Let me find his image. Bull, the droid, says, "Oh, Miss Tiny, you have Kyber." And of course, Kyber is not something that you're familiar with. It's not sort of in your lexicon.
So she'll just, because she has no idea what you just said, she'll just look at him and say, "But I got my vaccinations."
No. What you're holding there is Kyber. It is quite rare.
Are all of us present when she's messing with this?
Well, Luck, Tina, or Luck might. It's up to you where Luck is. He might still be watching the pod racing.
Yeah,
But at least
okay,
Tina
cool.
and Daryl are sort of hanging out there.
Yeah, she
I
would have
don't know
told
if
you
Luck
guys.
knows what Kyber is, or
Yeah, she would have told everyone.
Yeah, he
like,
probably does.
She nicked it from the mine after we found the lab.
he
And she had
says,
no idea what it was.
Bull will say, "Allow me, please," and he holds out his hand.
Yep, she'll shrug and kind of hand it over.
All right, so this chunk of ore that has the embedded crystal in it, he will take the ore and he'll say, "The important piece is this," and he begins to, with his really strengthy hands, begins to break the ore away and remove the crystal from the surrounding ore. The crystal is somewhat clear to you, so it was surrounded in, I think it was purplish ore that you were interested in, but it's somewhat clear. And he hands this crystal to you and he says, "This is the crystal. It is coveted by the Jedi.
Huh.
And
or
he,
their
he
lightsabers.
he will hand this back to you.
So she'll kind of hold it up like to the light to kind of look through it, and she'll say, "Why do they covet it so much?"
As you hold it to the light, it's clear, sort of transparent and clear. It begins to turn pinkish a little bit.
Oh yeah.
So it visibly changes color, and you do feel that connection to it a little stronger. He says, the Jedi, they use it in their lightsabers. He says, you know, I have not always been a maintenance droid. I have seen a lightsaber or two in my day.
Oh really?
Well, we found the traitor. It's the droid.
So she'll kind of give him a a look over, and then she seems to be mulling something over, and then she'll kind of make a decision, and she'll pull out. It's like a partially mangled piece of metal, and it's pretty beat up, but it's like hands it over and says, "This belonged to my mother." And it's the broken saber that she's been kind of carrying around ever since her mother died.
Weirdos who trust droids.
I trust droids.
Paul says, your mother was a Jedi?
I don't know. She got killed, and she died pretty quickly. She kind of told me a little bit about something called the Force, and gave me this.
I'm afraid I do not know much about the Force, but the weapons I am familiar with.
You said you worked with them. Can this be fixed? I've just been carrying it around, and I didn't know what to do with it.
Let me see. Perhaps it can. He will take the bits, and he says, I believe it can be fixed. There are some specialties known only to the Jedi, but at least I can get it mostly functional. Or perhaps I can assist you.
She'll just smile and say, thanks.
Well, if there's nothing else, Miss Tiny, I shall be on my way.
All right, so she'll
He's gotta
take back
report
the...
to his master.
Yeah, I know. We've been betrayed, but she'll take back the broken saber from him and everything before he goes.
And you will notice, as you're holding this Kyber crystal, so was Luck there during all this conversation, or is he speeder or pod racing?
Probably speeder. That might be in the same location. He just might not be paying attention.
How much does Daryl know about, past histories and stuff? I guess not that familiar.
I don't think he would be that familiar. Just looking at his skills. Unless he was aware of Jedi, he probably was touring them into some hot zones, I suspect.
You a driver, most likely. So not necessarily particularly familiar. All right.
So, quick question. Was Luck there, just to establish, was Luck there while she was talking about her mother to Bull?
No, he was watching the speed pod races.
Okay.
All right, so The crystal, by the way, you notice it has taken on a permanent pinkish hue. So even if you put it down, no longer holding it to the light, that hue has remained. It's no longer as clear as it was. Still somewhat transparent, but it's odd. In any case, time will pass. And Tina, you are sort of curled up on a sofa, catching some Z's when you begin to slip into a dream. And you see an image.
Never a good sign.
You see an image. There's a certain amount of lucidity to this dream, but you see an image of a younger woman or a child, aged maybe 13, 14, so not quite child, kid. And your gut is that it's your mother. Is it Diana?
I think so, yeah.
So it looks like a younger Diana. She is talking or receiving instruction from this guy. You do not actually, in the dream, you will hear the name mentioned.
Bob. His name is Bob.
So you'll hear him mentioned as your young mother is asking about a lightsaber. She says she's looking over a lightsaber, and she mentions the name Master ISO D. I think the yellow saber is also
Sentinel.
The temple guards and stuff, yeah.
No, it fluctuates. In the old legend stuff, yellow indicated as a Jedi Sentinel, which was I guess he would be like the Jedi Rogue, the Jedi Spy sort of thing. So halfway between the Consular and the Guardian.
And he will hand a lightsaber to your mother. It looks like this.
Wow, what a piece of junk.
Sigh.
I'm trying to figure out the logistic of it.
So if it's kind of like a certain level of lucidity, Tina's gonna try to see if she can dream herself a little bit closer to the discussion.
Well, they're talking about training. They're talking about the Force. He's giving words of wisdom like, the Force is in all things. It flows through us. It guides us. And basically going all all Yoda on your mother, and your mother's taking this in. And at the same time, you will see your mother will pull out her training saber, and she'll sort of hold and compare them. And you'll notice the saber that you have is the broken saber, is the saber that you see in the dream that your mother's holding.
Yep.
He will, Master ISOD will take back his saber, he'll clip it to his belt, and he'll say, it's enough training for today. And then suddenly the dream switches abruptly to a battlefield. There are clone troopers around that look, they have armor resembling Lux. I think Lux has been modified, sort of heavily modified.
Very heavily modified, yeah. But
So
it's
clone trooper armor, similar to what Luck wears. They are in a battlefield. You will see your mother there at the same time in this battlefield, fighting against what you would understand is separatist forces. There's lots of battle droids and the sort. Master ISOD is also there. This battlefield, the environment is vaguely familiar, and you will hear the Master ISOD call into his comm. He will say, Sergeant. Actually, what rank was Luck?
Sergeant. Fairly certain he rose to sergeant.
We can assume Sergeant. He will say, Sergeant. Sergeant Luck, I need you to bring your troops on the left flank of Mahina Kai Plateau immediately. In Tina, your dream, this is, you will hear a response over the comm. Yes, General. You will hear that over the comm, and it is in Luck's voice, not surprisingly, but they all sound the same.
What are you saying there, buddy?
It is about this time that Luck, you have returned to the club hangout. And you will hear Tina sort of mumbling in her sleep. And she says, Mahina Kai Plateau. And you recall that name. It is actually on Fantine. The Mahina Kai Plateau is is a significant battle that took place, and that is also the time that in that battle, Order 66 was issued.
Okay, how can you spell the place?
I'll type it in.
That might be a good idea. Because, you speak with a weird accent. Mahina Kai. You spelled plateau wrong, but that's okay. We won't hold it against you.
He is on a laptop.
And he's
And
Australian.
upside down.
That's true. We're lucky the text isn't all upside down.
I hope I haven't spelt them wrong in my images.
So there's an image of it.
I feel like that's going to be important soon. Very soon.
Where's my images?
Yeah, the U and the A are on for Plateau are reversed. U should be the last letter.
Yeah, no, I spelled it right. So,
okay.
Look,
So
you will hear her mumble this, and this sort of startles you because this is what 19, 20 years ago sort of thing.
We are at what year is it? It's
3
7?
BBY.
Is it 3 BBY? So that's about 16 years ago.
So she's mumbling this in her sleep, and I guess she would also mumble Master ISO D, which is your general, Jedi general.
Well, that's very interesting. How is he going to react to that? I'll have to look at my stuffs.
He'll have to kill her now.
So the battle rages on, and in this lucidity or lucid dream, you just feel compelled that this is something that you have to look into. You're drawn to find out more. And then the dream, as it sort of abruptly ends, and your eyes begin to open, and I guess you'll see Luck and Daryl in the room. Nim and Bosco may have come back by this stage, and yeah, you have a purpose. It almost feels like you have a purpose, like your gut is telling you to go there, maybe.
Yeah. So she comes to.
That said, you have no idea what Mahina Kai Plateau is, or anything like that.
So she wakes up and her eyes open, and she sits up, and like the first person she lays eyes on is Luck, who's standing there,
staring at her.
And she just blurts it out. Mahina Kai Plateau.
I know it. How do you know it?
We need to go there.
Okay, why? Totally gonna be tilting his head, looking at her a little differently now.
How much would she say? She'll kind of collect herself and think for a second, and then she'll just kind of look up and just say, I think you may have known my mother.
Not like that.
She'll just, if Daryl is close by, she's just going to punch him in the arm. Not like that.
Not like that.
I am scrolling down. Okay. So not Diana, it's Dania or Denia.
Denia.
Dnia.
So
okay.
she'll give Luck her mother's name.
Yeah, I was gonna say, as he could go over there and sort of crouch, because I'm presuming you were she's laid out on a cot, crouch and look at her and go, I don't have a last name there for Denia, but is like, ask is like, was she Denia? Insert last name here.
And so Tina would basically, I think she was just kind of sitting, and she'll just kind of like rub her eyes and say, yeah, that was her. She when she died, I think she told me to come find you.
So
do you know why?
That's a really good question. No.
Well, the out of character, I think the backstory was like Luck, when Order 66 happened, Luck spared her life.
He had an opportunity to take the shot and didn't, because the inhibitor chip was already malfunctioning. Because hey, I lost an eye, so my inhibitor chip was damaged. Fortunately, Master ISO D there, or ISO Day, or however you pronounce it, Luck did participate in shooting him a couple times. I don't know if he would be particularly enthusiastic about advertising that sort of thing at the moment. Like, well, we will have to discuss this more in depth at a later time. And if the GM is correct and Bosco has returned, then we'll have to look at him and say, okay, what's up with you?
He's got a date with the investigator.
Great.
Keep your enemies close and all that.
And your friends even closer. I don't know.
I don't know how I can do backup for that, because I can't get into the upper city without drawing too much or drawing unwanted attention. Because they will have my biometrics on record.
Maybe if they hang out on a rail overlooking the expanse.
And I'm like off on a cliff someplace, going, all right.
Uh-huh. Actually, do you have a long range weapon?
Yeah, I can use the carbine as a long range weapon. Range is 1500.
Yeah, that's not bad.
I wonder what the heavy blaster is, because we've got like at least we've got two of those now, right?
Well, the blasters are kind of problematic as a sniper's weapon anyway, if you want to remain hidden.
I could use the grenade launcher instead.
That seems a bit excessive.
The heavy blaster. Oh wow, that's quite a bit more. It's 1200/3600. So range, the first number is half damage. Is that correct?
Right after that is half damage.
So it's only 500. That's not as great.
I honestly wonder if that's actually true in this case, because you're not dealing with ballistics.
No, but it is a blaster. It's blaster, so that's like what is it? It's particle beams. So it's like energy packets, and or at least that's the way they've described them in Star Wars.
They will disperse with the
and they
atmosphere.
sort of disperse. Yeah.
I think the science behind it is that it fires a laser beam and the charged particles follow along the laser beam.
No, that's an electrolaser.
I think that's how the blasters work as well. Maybe. Anyway, not important.
intense plasma or particle-based energy, often mistaken for lasers. Right. At any rate,
Bosco, when did you want to arrange this meeting? How long are you? What sort of lead time are you giving yourself?
I'll just have her come in like right after normal business hours to the office, the pharmacy or whatever.
Next day, same day,
Yeah,
2 days time.
the next day, same day. Just the same day is fine.
have you figured out the nonsense you're gonna be telling her?
Well, he's gonna do a little bit of fast talking.
She's totally gonna know it's you. You're gonna go on the run. That's gonna be awesome.
Well, our pharmacist, she traced, as far as he's concerned, we sell our medicine and our drugs, across the sector or whatever. Like, it's so that doesn't really mean anything. It just means somebody used our stuff and they were there. Doesn't mean it was me. So that's kind of the angle he's going with.
But of course, she's better than you. You're going to tell her everything without even knowing that you've told her.
That's right. She's gonna pull a Natasha Romanoff on you. Right. So the Hulk's your gambit. That's your play.
Yep.
All right. So next day.
Before you jump to that, how far away is Mahina Kai?
Can
we bring up coordinates on the whatever the local holo projector thing is?
Yep, you can find that. It's like in the vicinity of about 100-ish miles. So not a long trip.
What is there now?
Nothing. It is vacant space.
Interesting.
There's no settlement there. There is the remnants of an old battlefield.
Oh, I know about the battlefield.
You may insert the level of bloodiness of that battle, whether it was a victory for the Republic or for the Separatists, or ended in a stalemate, or whatever. I'll leave that to your narrative.
I actually tend toward following what they sort of semi-established in the Revenge of the Sith novelization, which is surprisingly hands down awesome and better than the movie. And what they establish in the opening stuff is, frankly, the Republic was losing the war, which was sort of intentional because Palpatine's an evil genius. So it would have been, if it was a victory, it was a very, very bloody one.
Well, perhaps it was not a victory because you went and killed your general, and that turned the tide of battle. So maybe it was a defeat. You lost a lot of brothers.
Yeah,
I'll leave that up to you. Entirely up to you. You can give us a brief narrative of what happened at the Battle of Mahina Kai.
Once we get there, yeah.
Oh, sorry, Mahina Kai Plateau. So it's not a long trip. You can take a speeder there, not a problem. Is Daryl doing anything during this time, or does he have anything to sort of input?
I don't think Daryl does, aside from just observing and listening. But his mind's probably going to this place she's mentioning. Wondering if any of his area knowledge would possibly give him a sense of where it is.
Saying that, I should probably spend some fun. I'm going to make a note of that. I am actually going to frickin' buy area knowledge Fantine at some point.
Well,
Seems
you
like
are
it'd be a
new
good
here,
idea.
so
Ish.
actually, Daryl could act as Bosco's driver for his date.
Cool.
At
What's
least
the
get him
driver?
inside the gate.
So would he know where this is located?
Roll area knowledge if you have it.
Actually,
I've got mid rim, I've got outer rim.
is that a well-known location?
Does Daryl have history or anything like that?
No.
Okay, what about soldier?
No.
Roll IQ.
Sure.
You have
fail by one's not that bad.
You have heard about since you were working with the Grand Army of the Republic for a time. You would have heard of the Battle of Mahina Kai Plateau. The details are sketchy. You know it happened on Fantine. You don't know exactly where. And failed by one, you don't know what the result was. But you have heard about it. It's something that's been talked about in this sector anyway.
All right.
You said that was 16 years ago.
That's what I think it would be, presuming we are three BY, ABY.
So Nim would have been about 14, 15 at the time, probably.
Because technically, the use of BBY and ABY is not canonical. I mean, it's not in universe used. What is used in universe right now is BFE and FE, which is before the founding of the Empire and founding of the Empire. And so we would be like 15 FE, I think.
Bit of a departure, but how widespread was the war on Fantine specifically? Clearly there were some major battles fought here.
I think Fantine was something of an important strategic location. I believe that's something that Luck established in his backstory.
Yeah, Fantine was mostly under the control of the Trade Federation, simply for my toxic, my whatever, I guess. And so the Republic kept trying to take it. I guess
Moidians everywhere.
Battle of Mahina Kai would be taking place during the second siege of Fantine, which would be the overall campaign, not the individual battles.
Right. So most of the army garrison here would have been droids.
Yep.
For the Separatist, yes.
Just realizing that Nim had to grow up with that.
Oh, yeah, that's true. You shouldn't like droids either.
Now that you mention it.
They run around and say crap like Roger, Roger.
No, I just hate Nemoidians, but that's just kind of a Duros thing anyway.
Okay. So the next day you will have the interview with Nara Tauni. Any preparations prior to that? No need to roll.
Well, he's got his hidden, he's got his typical like fold out blaster, and he does have
He's totally planning on destroying and shooting her.
no, that's just he's got an injector. What do you call it, like hyperdemic, or I don't know what you call those, with the sleep concoction in it.
I don't know. So you're gonna roofie the investigator.
He
He's
absolutely
overconfident,
is.
but that's his backup plan.
Well, to be fair, he might need to roofie the brick house over there. Her shadow. You might need a little extra for him, though.
Oh, so maybe what he'll do if he is going to prepare, he'll have like he'll have his little wet bar with his scotch and whatnot in the corner. He'll have
Great. Now I'm envisioning Tony Stark from the first Avengers movie talking to
Mhm.
Loki. Not a great plan.
well, if he needs to, he's got a couple of the glasses that are prepared with the sleeping drugs.
It's not Scott, it's Nog.
Use 40K stuff. Amasec.
All right. So any other preparations by the rest of the group? Anything the rest of the group wants to do for the rest of this day / evening, leading up to the interview?
Yeah, kind of fall into
Research.
the same problem that Luck does. Don't have any way to get in there legitimately.
Well, I mean, anybody, I
Well,
can
you could
have guests, I'm sure.
you could get in there as long as you're not walking around in clone trooper armor. That's probably a big giveaway.
Actually, just saying that,
Disguise
there's probably
would
no
work.
reason I can't be at the offices doing something or other.
The thing that does come up to me for Nim, though, is he technically, does he have social stigma criminal record? Because he's
Yeah,
been
but
some time. So they may really hassle him just for going up there.
well, I mean that's
Well, we
gonna
have a
be a thing anyway.
rehabilitation
It's a
program.
-1 on the reaction roll, so if you are inspected, your reaction roll will probably determine whether you're going to get harassed.
No, I can't think of a legitimate reason for me to be there other than to keep an eye on the shadow guy. But chances of me being in a position to be able to do that is pretty slim, I think.
Well, you could be like the janitor. You're a part
Well,
of the rehab.
that was actually my original thinking, something like that.
You can't get a job doing anything else because of your record. So we have a criminal rehabilitation program where we hire convicts, ex-convicts.
Oh my god. I almost want to do that just because it's funny.
So, your plan. Describe what you're doing. I'll assume that we move forward to the time of the interview.
Yeah, I mean, Vasco's gonna, he's not giving anything up. She's the one asking questions, so he's gonna find out what she knows.
Okay, so Bosco, you're going to go to the interview. During the interview, is Daryl, Tina doing anything in particular?
Well, I think I'm going to start looking at plotting courses.
Okay, you can give me a navigation roll. You can find a way to get there.
All right.
The plateau itself, you will know. Space is not the navigation that you should have rolled, but I think it defaults to one another sufficiently for that to be a success. You will know that the plateau is at an elevation high enough that you don't really need a respirator. You can make do without a respirator, but your throat might get a little bit scratchy after some days or whatever. But the plateau is above the general toxic layer that Fantine is known for.
Understood.
Hence one of the reasons why it was chosen as a sort of a base for the Republic. Tina. Was Tina doing anything special during this interview period?
Unless there's something specific that Bosco would need her to help with or be ready for, she's just going to be on standby, I think.
Will she be going into the upper levels, or are you going to be standby in your hangout? I think we established that you guys have an old warehouse from Bosco's businesses or something like that that you're using as a haunt or your base.
Right.
Yeah, it depends on if Bosco needs her to be there, like on the floor for anything, she can, or she can hang out at the hideout and listen in and maybe feed information if needed over
think that
comms.
was your hideout.
Yeah.
Okay, so being in that position to get to the upper levels is not a straightforward thing. So if backup is needed, you could be there, but it's not like I'll be there in a couple of minutes. It'll be a bit longer than that.
Okay.
All right, Nim. What's your plan? Are you going to play the janitor or anything like that?
Why the hell not?
All right, so Nim, you're going to be the janitor. And Luck.
Yeah.
Back at the warehouse, just
back
listening.
at the warehouse, yeah.
All right, so Bosco and Nim, you will make your way to the upper levels. Or Bosco, you're there. Nim, you'll have to make your way to the upper levels. Let's have a universe reaction roll. Actually, no. As you step into the upper levels, you're clearly not supposed to be here. So you are stopped by some Novasec
What?
officers to check your papers. Give me a reaction roll for Nim, please. Add or subtract any modifiers. Your criminal record will...
What are papers?
Your Imperial ident.
I'm assuming
Chain code.
Chain code.
seeing as Bosco actually owns that company, he can provide me with actual credentials to get in.
Yeah.
So I will show that.
You'll have the credentials. I just need the reaction roll to see if they want to harass you further because you're a crim.
Well, I'm debating about whether or not I should try to mitigate that somehow. Unfortunately, that is not my thing.
Well, it will be because you're going to be a spy.
Well, you could certainly fast
I
talk.
guess I may have to develop that.
You could try and fast talk for a good reaction.
Well, I was thinking about that, and I'm not that great at it. My chances are about the same with a reaction. But I do have some reaction mods that are going to be a problem. Well, I guess let's see what happens. Let's see, what do we got here?
We need you to roll. Fail your fast talk. So you get a bad reaction.
Because of course.
What was the 5 for?
Whether or not he gets mouthy. Trying to remember because I haven't done this in a while. Do the reaction modifiers apply to the fast talk?
Yes, they do.
So it doesn't matter which one I do.
Well, your fast talk might be better. That's the difference.
Well, there's no better in the case of a reaction roll.
Well, and the difference is with a fast talk roll, your reaction is either good or poor. No, bad. I think it's bad. There's no neutral. There's no neutral or poor.
I don't think I want to try it at this point. God help me. So assuming that they're going to actually be able to tell the social stigma, it may not always apply because it's not immediately obvious. I don't have a friggin' stamp on my forehead.
Well, I'm assuming that your identification.
Well, I guess that's the time I want to roll like that.
Nice. Your ID would show up that you have a criminal record. So if you flash your ID, it'll say you're a crim.
That intolerance was for Nemoidians, not for everybody.
Doesn't matter. Good. So as you go through the checkpoint, Novasec will sort of scan your identity, credentials. They'll give it the once over. They'll ask you, your business, and then you'll be sent on your way with no further issue. You do notice at the checkpoint the increased, so Novasec are doing the checking, but you'll see that there's some Imperial troops, stormtroopers, that are sort of standing around,
right,
being intimidating and just monitoring the situation.
Move along. Move along.
And you are indeed moved along, and you will turn up at the Bosco family business. I'm assuming that you're not wearing any weapons or anything like that that would be considered illegal. I think we determined the upper levels you require a license to have a firearm or sidearm. Everything else was fine.
Then yes.
All right, Bosco, you will be at the interview. And Nim, I guess you're outside the Bosco or Bosco's office. You're going to be doing some cleaning.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have acting?
Not a lot.
Make the roll.
I'm guessing
See
you
how
want me to actually
convincing.
roll that.
See how convincing you are as someone that's pretending to clean. Wow.
Apparently, I look just like a janitor.
5-5. Remember.
All right, so you're outside the offices. You're tending to some plants and cleaning and emptying bins, and you're actually making it look legit. I don't know whether you want to consider a career change because you seem to fit in just fine.
I'm totally putting a point in housekeeping.
So you will see the two people that you have heard about, the investigator and her offsider. They will appear. She will knock on Bosco's office door, pause for a moment, and then enter. While Kazan will just sort of stand around and he will sort of eye you up and down, just give you a glance and then sort of turn away, and he just sort of stands there and he stays out of the office, just doing his thing, being stoic. Is Nim looking to chat to him or anything like that?
That does kind of seem like the thing he would do. He'll take a break at some point and see if he wants any pesos.
Give me a reaction roll.
Yeah, why'd you have to do that? I shouldn't have said anything.
Obviously, your criminal record and stuff won't factor here, so it'd just be your modifiers that apply.
Damn it. Having a roll for that doesn't actually work if it always rolls.
You need to turn that into a table.
Well,
Players can't make
can I?
rolls.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I mean, you could make it into a mod and have him load it, but
Well, I didn't. It wasn't bad. I'm okay. It's all right. I got a bag of pesos. Hey, you want some?
He will sort of say, "No, I'm good." Then he turns to you and says, "You been here long?"
Nah, this is my first day.
So you don't know anything about this Bosco fella, the guy in this office?
Ah, well, he's famous.
Yeah? What can you tell me about him?
Well, he's on the commercials. He does drugs. You know, not like that, though. Not that I know of, anyway.
And this is your first day?
Yeah.
He looks you over and says, "You don't look like the type that would be working in a fancy place like this. You look
What do you
like..."
mean I don't look like the type? You got a problem with Duros?
He doesn't respond. He
So
says,
that means yes.
"Do you know anything about the business? The family here. I understand they're quite close knit with the community here in Minerva."
Well, they're all over the place, yeah. They make a lot of money. I generally stay out of their business and they stay out of mine.
So he will continue to sort of just exchange in idle chat, and you can see that he's just subtly probing for general information. Are these guys, are the family sort of the type to cause trouble, or are they, just doing their thing?
Does Bosco have
Well-
like a cousin or a stepbrother that he really doesn't like? You could have
Yeah.
Nim sort of, point them towards that guy.
So clearly the bodyguard is part of the operation and not just a paperweight.
You get the feeling that he knows, he's probably been tagging along long enough to know a little bit of the ropes. I guess you could think of him as your buff Dr. Watson. Actually, I shouldn't use that analogy at all because they're not that. Anyway, Bosco, in your room, the door, there's a knock, and Nara will stride in, close the door behind. She'll give you a friendly smile.
He offers her champagne. Maybe hits the button and the disco ball comes down.
She will,
Not quite.
if Bosco, if you're at a desk, she will sort of move towards the desk. Her first words are, how do you pronounce your surname?
I don't know. Buczynski.
It's Baczynski.
Buczynski?
I'm just amused that he's like, I don't know.
Mr. Bosco
Yeah.
Buczynski. Thank you for your time. I'm glad you could make it available for a interview. I only have a few questions.
The first question is like, how long have you been a trader?
Yeah, so Bosco's no problem on there. Like he's friendly and puts on a little bit of his charisma charm and says, "Yeah, I heard you had some questions about some of our pharmaceutical products, and that's my division. I just want to make sure I can answer any questions you have."
She says, "Well, I was here earlier, and I gathered some information. Apparently, at the site of an incident at Pallas, there was a number of recently used medical supplies that were sourced from your family business. I am just investigating any leads as to connections that may be related to these insurgents. Of course, your administrator, Krytal, wants to maintain law and order here on Fantine. So I just seek to aid him in that. We don't want any violence or unnecessary hardship on the people here, do we?
Okay, and then Pallas was the where we were just at, right, with the walker and all that. And
Yes.
is that I know what happened there is kind of like not widespread, but the fact that there was um people missing and like is it common knowledge, or if I say something about that, will she know that I know something?
Give me an IQ roll. Unless you have common sense, you're welcome to roll on that.
IQ, I have a 14. I roll, let's see. I rolled a 9, success by 5.
All right, so you know there's an Imperial cover story. Originally, Pallas, the environmental shields failed, and the city was evacuated because it was not healthy to be there anymore. It was detrimental to health. And as far as
Right.
the public know, is it was evacuated. There was no people hanging out, holding out, staying there, refusing to be evacuated. There was no Imperials hunting down the locals, trying to eradicate them. There was none of that. And in recent news, of course, it turns out that the Empire has been vigilantly trying to repair the environmental shield so people could move back to Pallas. But terrorists attacked those work efforts and caused significant damage to the city itself, beyond the environmental shields and such. And several of the local workers that were operating on those repairs were killed in the process. And that's the cover story, but it's the truth is not that at all. The common knowledge is that the Empire's done a fairly good job of pushing that cover story, so the general population kind of believes that the shields did fail, people were evacuated. As to what was happening there after, no one knows. No one's been going there. It's been off limits.
Yeah. Okay. So Nara, is it? Well, yeah. It's so sad what happened in Pallas with the shields failing and all those people hurt. I mean, it doesn't surprise me that there's been, a larger consumption of our products being used to help the population.
Well, it would appear that these terrorists may have been using your products, which leads me to believe that they are perhaps locals of Pallas, or at least have easy access to your goods. As I said, I was here earlier, and I gathered the information I wanted. I'm curious, why have you personally asked me to come back?
Oh, I apologize. Must have been a misunderstanding. My our front desk, our secretary said that you left your card and that you had some questions. So I thought that you wanted to speak to somebody. But I mean, if you have everything you need, then here's my card. You can call me directly if you have any further questions, and I'd be happy to help. All within the law, all within the legal process, that is.
She'll ask your staff. What is the general perception of your staff towards the Empire? Did the Empire interfere with your business at all?
Well, I can't speak for what other people think or feel. The staff that we hire is just based on them doing their jobs and their merits. Um, as far as I'm aware of, it has, none of their personal beliefs has interfered with their performance.
And Mr. Brushinsky, have you ever visited Pallas recently?
Recently, no, can't say that I have.
Okay, so that's a lie.
She doesn't know that.
She might have detect lies.
Oh man.
So you may roll IQ. I think it's IQ or fast talk. There might also be a place for acting.
I believe it's going to be resisted by will. Not that that's probably different.
I think you can you can increase the skill of your lying. I think you can use fast talk.
Well, you can use a skill to lie with, but if you're not using a skill, I think it's going to be will. I think that's what we determined. Now, in his case, it's probably acting here.
Acting is kind of a longer term. It was my
Yeah, normally that's true, but this is you're not trying to make up a story here. You're just trying to hide your true intentions. It can be used that way. I think I've seen precedent for that.
Actually, since it wasn't declared that you were going to lie with a skill, I'll go with the default, your will roll.
What? I told you I was using my fast talk on her.
Okay, all
Didn't
right.
I mean, I have fast talk and I have diplomacy. Those are my two skills.
Okay. But when I asked the question, you just replied, "No, I haven't been there recently," without declaring. Okay, I'm going to lie to her.
I thought we were just role
That's fine.
for a moment.
We'll go with that. You can use your fast talk.
It is IQ.
Okay. IQ, fast talk, or acting. So you can use any one of those.
And then it says a +2. Let's see. Do I get a +2 for my charisma or no?
And I'll get you to roll in the box, please.
I guess it wouldn't if this isn't an influence roll.
It's not an influence roll, so you don't get your charisma bonus.
I'm trying to influence her to believe me that I'm not lying or that I'm telling the truth.
It is a bit of a blurry line there.
Is charisma conditional?
Yeah, I think it is.
Because if it's a conditional trait, then it wouldn't apply.
It's not a conditional trait.
I'm pretty sure it says it only works when on an influence roll or a reaction.
Yeah,
it just says it provides a +1 on all reaction rolls made by sapient beings with whom you actively interact.
So this is not a reaction roll. This is a contest, so it doesn't apply.
All right, and no problem.
She'll say, So, when was the last time that you were at Pallas on business or pleasure?
When was the last time? I'm sorry. What?
When was the last time you were at Pallas on either business or pleasure? Or for any matter, in that regard.
Well, I'm sorry. Am I the subject of some sort of investigation here? I just like
Of course not. I am
I
just
act
trying
offended.
to establish, how your company could be involved in affairs that were taking place there. You are, of course, not under investigation at all.
That means you are under investigation, by the way.
Right. I didn't understand the question though. When was the last time I was in Pallas? Is that what she's asking?
Yes.
Um, I don't remember. I know that I've been there probably a couple of years ago or something like that, but it's not somewhere where I frequent. I mostly stay here in the city. My business keeps me pretty busy.
Do you have representatives from your business that would operate out of Pallas? I'm trying to ascertain how it is your product finds its way there.
Well, I mean, we have distributors, so we manufacture and supply our distributors with, our aspirin and Tylenol products, and then people can buy it from there. I have no control over the end users and where it ends up.
What about emergency supplies? Medicines for more critical treatment, such as Bacta spray and the sort.
Well, we operate wholly within the purview of the law, and we only sell any products that require a license or a medical license to prescribe. Those are only provided to hospitals and other medical practitioners.
I see. And I assume that your representatives or distributors were evacuated from Pallas some 2 months ago with the rest of the city. Yes?
I guess I'm not understanding the question. We don't have any satellite offices. Excuse me.
So your representatives that do service Pallas, is there a name, someone that I could talk to within your company that may know that information?
His name is Daryl.
Exactly.
Are you asking like for our account representatives, like our sales people?
Anyone that
I
that would be supplying your anyone that would be supplying your company's goods to Pallas, or the distributors in Pallas.
Well, I don't. That's not something that I know about directly. I'm a pharmacist, so I run the division where we manufacture the
I see.
products.
But you should be able to give me the information on who would distribute to, or which one of your representatives or sales staff, distributors that does service your goods in Pallas. Somehow your goods arrive in Pallas.
How big is this company?
They must arrive there by some means.
I'd also probably point out that Bosco's earlier questioning about Is this an unofficial investigation? Would probably have to kick in where he would have to start pulling out the, okay, you're starting to ask for internal information about the
It's
company.
business confidential. Yeah.
Yeah, that's you're gonna have to. We're gonna have to talk to lawyers about this, while still trying to be going, really polite and going, hey, I'm sorry, my hands are tied now. You said the evil magic words.
Yeah, I think what he would say is, and he wouldn't be lying because he doesn't know, that's really not his part of the business. Um, and actually, he's not, he doesn't run the business. He's kind of an outcast, anyways. Goodness. But he would say, well, I can put you in contact with our HR person who can, with subpoena or the proper, because that would probably, he's like, I'm just guessing that would probably be business confidential information, and I can get you in contact with our contact in our company who handles those sorts of requests.
I thank you for your time. I have no further questions. It's a pleasure to meet you.
She knows you're a traitor. She's going to have you assassinated.
I have the information most of the information that I needed when I was here earlier. Good day to you, Mr. Buxin, whatever.
It's canon. She totally butchers his name on purpose.
You should have used the sex appeal.
I know, right?
She will
And
stand.
The Barry White.
She will stand and shake your hand, and she says, "I'll let myself out." She sort of takes a few steps away from your desk, and she says,
One more thing.
One more thing. She pulls out of her pocket a vial, which you recognize instantly as a vial of Bacta spray. And she says, can I just get you to confirm something for me? The manufacture date on this vial of Bacta spray. She steps over to your desk and sort of puts it on your desk and points. Is this correct? And you see the manufacture date is like a month ago.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, if that's what it says, that's what must go. I mean, if it's legit, then it's legit. He doesn't know.
It does say, correct manufacture date. She says, thank you. And she'll pocket the vial again, and you'll see that the vial is somewhat, dusty.
Now she's got your prints on it.
Or Lux, because Lux uses the spray.
And she then walks out.
Yeah, so if you want to score some spice, I know a guy. Oh wait, boss is coming out.
The door will open, and Nim, you will see Nara emerge. Do you have body language?
I do not.
Okay, so you will see that the two, Nara and Kazan, in your conversation, would Nim have asked his name?
Probably not.
Okay, so the guy that you don't know is Kazan. Nara and Kazan will sort of exchange looks, sort of like, I have what I need here, and they say it's we can go. And the Kazan will just sort of give you a nod, doesn't say anything, doesn't say goodbye or anything, just gives you a nod, and the two leave.
She's on to you, Bosco.
Yeah. As she was walking out, Ronnke, can Bosco do his body language roll just to see if he thinks she bought it?
So you're following her out?
I'm not gonna follow her out, but as she leaves as I told her, my story, and she was questioning me and blah blah blah.
His
At the
gaze
end.
follows her out.
Her
Yeah, does she?
Those are very tight pants.
her poker face is really good. She was polite and everything.
That doesn't mean he can't make a body language test.
You can make the roll, but give me. I'm going to assess a -4 penalty because you're not following her out.
All right.
Yeah, she was really hard to read. Normally, you got some idea on what people are subconsciously telling you, but yeah, she was good.
She's actually a fembot.
Oh, machine gun jumblies.
Blaster jumblies.
Okay, so she will leave. Bosco and Nim, post their departure, do you do anything?
I continue on my job like I'm supposed to be here.
What about Bosco?
He's thinking about taking a long holiday to Alderaan.
He's thinking about making sure he's got his alibi lined up for the last couple of weeks. And maybe creating a paper trail.
Yeah, you're probably
Should
gonna
have
have to
been
look
doing
into
that
the
already.
tracking on that back to spray SKU, find out whose that was and how it ended up over there. But then again, maybe she's waiting for you to do that.
Yeah, but at the same time, it would actually make sense for the company to do that internally to, after being brought up and be like, okay, we need to CYA. We need to find out who did this.
That's true. That's true. If you were innocent, you would look into it. If you knew what was going on, then you wouldn't.
For benefit of all, some meta information is Pallas was apparently evacuated 2 months ago, yet vials of back to spray appeared in Pallas that are manufactured after the evacuation date. So somehow goods are still getting to Pallas. That's probably what she learned from that, if you didn't pick up on that already.
Well, what I was trying to get to her, tell her, my point to her was, we manufacture this shit. Like where it goes, who uses it, that's not my problem. Like I don't have anything to do with that.
She knows that.
She probably
That's
knows
why-
more about your business than you do.
That's why she wants to know how people distribute it and how Bacta would get to stuff, and then she'll investigate what batches of Bacta was sold or manufactured a month ago, and where it was delivered. And
Right. So what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to have Tina cause a data bomb to go off to make it look like somebody else is responsible. What's that?
Yeah,
what's that criminal dude that Nim didn't like, who he owed money to? Maybe you can point it toward him.
Oh, don't do that.
Okay,
I don't
point
want
it
him to
towards the
find out I
Crimson
came.
Pirates.
Not that she'll necessarily find anything, but she's just trying to find leads. She'll talk to people,
Well,
and then people will say, I sold this back to this guy.
I think what she'll find out
Or
that
this,
I'm giving, if I'm giving the GM ammunition, is she's going to find out that this particular batch probably never made it to a distributor.
it was probably
You know,
requisitioned by
Bosco.
Bosco.
Which is why I was saying that's when you need to have the data breach, the inexplicable data breach that wipes some server information.
That's not
Just get a
incriminating at
little.
all.
Or find a patsy that was in the building around that time that might have quote unquote stolen some.
In any case, if
Your host,
Bosco and Nim are not doing anything special, we will clock wipe to later on. What's the group doing once gathered? Are you going to discuss what's going on? What's next?
Sorry, Bosco. I couldn't get the stain out of that carpet over there.
Is Nim going to turn up for work the next day as well?
That would be funny. You should totally
No,
do
but he
that.
might be a regular.
How much do you pay?
Funny is he actually starts showing up over there when Bosco hasn't, arranged for it.
Yeah, so
you guys discuss.
Yeah, this stuff is way out of Lux bailiwick. He's like, okay, is it cleared up? Do you have to, do something more?
So what I'll tell the group is, well, I couldn't really tell. I think I'm sure she was suspicious, but she has nothing on me. But she does have one of our Bacta spray canisters. And if she was able to get our internal records, she could probably put 2 and 2 together. So as long as she wouldn't have access to our company files or information, we're safe.
What are the chances of that?
That's it. We're going to have to offer.
Might.
But she's an innocent. She's just doing her job.
Well, we could try, like, Tina getting in, hacking in, and updating a few rows in their database to change who it was distributed to or who took it.
Yeah, that's probably the simplest solution.
Honestly, you could probably just have Bosco walk in with your droid, and then the droid plugs in, and someplace, and you communicate with it remotely, tell it what to do.
Yeah, altering records, since Bosco, has access. Altering records is not going to be difficult. You could do that.
Well, the problem with that is if using Bosco's access, I'm assuming that would be
no, I wasn't
recorded.
thinking using his. I wasn't thinking of his access. I was thinking he's just he walks in with your itty bitty droid. He lets it go off and maybe go through the air vents or something. Hack into go into the equivalent of a server room and jack in. We saw that R2 is able to do that all over the place as long as there's ports, and apparently in Star Wars there's ports everywhere.
Yeah, so definitely don't want to do it logged in as like Bosco or somebody, because that would be pretty easy to trace back to him anyway.
That's when Bosco picks a member of his family who he doesn't really like. Cousin Harry has always been looking at you funny. And there was that time he macked on your girl in school. Yeah, you were 6, but that's beside the point.
So if we want to go that route, then yeah, Tina could either do it, or Bosco could sneak in the droid, and the droid could go disappear somewhere and monkey around with the data.
Or Bosco could be the one that gives her the data and just alters it as you give it to her.
Cool. We're
But yeah,
going on Mission Impossible here.
That's going to be the Band-Aid solution, at least.
So Bosco can come good with his promise and make that information available. It's just he has doctored it before handing it over.
Yeah, I think, game-wise, it'll be like her skill versus our skill. I have forgery.
Tina's going to discourage that because she has a moderate knowledge of hacking, and stuff like that can be traced back if it's, I don't know, it's riskier.
If you don't cover your tracks properly, it can be tracked back.
Yeah. So, assuming that part of the information she has gotten from somebody already, because she already said that she got all the information she needed, that could also mean that somebody in your company turned over those records to her and she already knows. And if you give her fake data, then that's just extra on top of the,
Yeah, Bosco took it as, it's like where you say, oh yeah, like you ask a question pretending you know the answer, and the other person's like, oh crap, how did you know? So he wasn't falling for that, where she's saying that she has all the information she needs.
Mhm.
He just thinks she's fishing for information. But he is concerned, either like somehow she's probably going to gain access through our records, whether it's some sort of subpoena or other over covert methods. So he does feel like he needs to create an alibi for himself, and also change the routing for that or create a fake, hey, we distributed that to drugs are us in Pallas or something like that. I don't know. Or
Well,
whatever.
it wouldn't have been Pallas because no one was in Pallas after
Right.
2 months.
Right.
Well,
Or whatever.
Isn't their new cover story though that there were actually people there trying to clean it up, and that was when the quote unquote terrorists came in? So it's like they originally said nobody was there, and then when all this came out, they changed their story and said, "Oh no, people were actually there. They were just doing cleanup like good guys."
This is true. There were
So it could
repair
be.
crews.
So
It's
it could
the
be
Empire.
that.
They don't have to be consistent.
Yeah, so it could be that like we could change it to like the name of one of the like an Imperial who happened to be among that group. Like maybe they came through town and picked up some Bacta.
That would work if she's not in on the conspiracy. So if she's been told of the cover story, then she would believe that. But if she knows that there was no work crews there and stuff, then that would be a red flag for her.
Well,
Okay.
so really the situation here is, what is the truth? The truth is that Bosco picked up that vial of Bacta spray from his company because it's his company and he just took some. Did he sign it out? How did that work? Or did he just grab it out of the warehouse and nobody knows who took it?
I assume it would be signed out as part of procedure. Otherwise, you'd have stock going missing, unaccounted stock.
To avoid causing any further problems, that after that vial was removed from the warehouse, it it could have gone anywhere, and this company would have had absolutely no idea how it got where it got. So all he has to do is cover up the fact that he actually signed it out, or whatever the truth is there.
Yeah.
Sign it out to the last janitor.
Yeah, I
Or a
think
guy that quit the company.
if I were to go back and say, I think I'd say how Ronnke said it would have been signed. I probably would have taken it out and signed it out in my name. I don't know if would I? Like I would have done it in a way to not cause like audits and stuff like that to our company.
Yeah,
So I
so
think
you
they
would have
would be able
legitimately signed it out. You would have seen no reason not to sign it out. You know, you're just taking some stock. You're just accounting for it so that, you know, when
So my
audits happen.
parents, so my uncle and my parents, don't come looking into my business.
Now, the other way to do that is to fix it on the other end and say that you actually did sign that stuff out, but that was for a project, a charity project or something.
Well,
and so
I was
it
going
ended up
to
over
say something
there.
similar to that. Similar to the charity product is he's a drug manufacturer. When they go glad handing to people to sell stuff, they will hand out samples.
Or that.
So he could easily make it that where it's like, I checked this. It looks like I did sign this out, but it was part of a thing where I was just, going to these various places and handing out samples. So I'm not entirely sure where it disappeared or how it got there.
So the
But
trick in
that
that
would,
case is
yeah.
to find a thing that he was legitimately doing at the right time period that it could have got washed out.
All right, so we have a plan. Records have to be doctored, and we can address that at some point. So, Tina, I assume, or Daryl was plotting a course to get to the Mahina Kai Plateau. Tina wanted to go there. I guess, has Luck authorized that? Or does he think it's a good idea? Or what's the go there?
He's very curious as to why she wants to go there. But at the same time, it's like he doesn't want to, he doesn't necessarily want to talk about what actually went on there because it's not something he likes to really think about. Okay, it got quiet. It's my mic being dumb again.
Nope, I can hear you.
I'm here.
So is the plan to go there?
So Tina would like to go there.
Why?
But do it?
Why?
I don't know. I just feel, I have the feeling that I really, really need to go there. My mother was there, I think.
Nothing good happened at Mahina Kai.
So you were there.
Yes, twice actually. Well, no, twice would not be the right phrasing. Multiple times.
Possibly.
And she'll kind of fold her arms, kind of give you.
Weren't you
like,
raised on Fantine? Do you not know any of your planetary history?
No, I was not raised here.
Huh.
And she will have she'll like fold her arms and kind of give you like the narrow-eyed appraising look. And she'll say, "You used to be a sergeant, didn't you?"
Long ago. Probably before you were born.
Uh-huh. And hang on, give me a second to open my notes. I don't have a good memory anymore.
Who
Did
does?
Tina
Welcome to
hear
being
hear
old.
the yeah, no. Did Tina hear the Jedi's name in her dream or just saw him?
Yes, no, she heard the name. Master
Okay.
ISO-D.
Did she hear any other names?
Okay. So she'll
She heard
say
luck. She heard luck referenced. Master ISO-D actually gave orders for Luck to bring his troops around the left flank of Mahina Kai ASAP. That was an order that was given that she saw in the dream.
I guess the other thing there would be, did any of the other clones in the unit have any distinctive markings, features?
Well, even then, she wouldn't have seen Luck face because we were in a combat situation. There's a combat zone. Helmet stayed on. Got to keep those buckets on.
Not that she
Yeah, I
would have
think
seen Luck's face anyway and
Yeah.
recognized the difference.
Well, actually, depends on which point that was. If that's the first time, then no, because he would have just looked like everybody else. If it was right before Order 66, then possibly because he would have had the cybernetic eye at that point.
Well, then this took place when he had the cybernetic eye.
But again, he would have had the helmet on, so she wouldn't have seen.
yeah, I thought it was like over comms anyway, the order.
Yes, the order was given over comms, but Luck's name was mentioned, Sergeant Luck.
Yep. So she's just gonna have her arms folded, her eyes narrowed, and she's just gonna repeat what she heard. Sergeant Luck, bring your troops on the left flank of the Mahina Kai Plateau immediately.
That's a command I've not heard in a long time.
A long time. So she'll say, the general, you called him a general, but
Because he was our general. Do you not know anything about the Clone Wars?
She kind of she shrugs and she says, that happened before I was born.
The Great Hyperspace War happened before I was born, or no, not born, before I was decanted. But I still remember, I still know about it. Man, what they teach younglings these days.
Youngling. She'll just kind of shrug and she'll just out with it. She's going to say, my mother, when she died, told me to find the clone with one eye. And you're the first one I found like that.
I just saw Daniel's comment. She hasn't seen Saving Private C2 1234.
Nice. But she'll just say, how did you know my mother?
She was the Padawan to General ISO-D. He was the Jedi attached to the 336th. Curious that she said I was to help you.
Yeah, I find that curious as well. You seem decent enough.
You'd be surprised what other Jedi might consider, though.
Really? Why is that?
Are you certain you want to know? This will probably change how you think about things quite a bit. And he is absolutely dead flat, not flat, dead serious as he's saying that.
I am going to choose for Tina to fail curiosity. And she is going to settle in for the story and look at him expectantly and just give him a single nod.
Yeah, if this was a proper television show, we'd cut to a flashback.
Feel free to narrate that flashback.
Yep, he's going to relate that he was here. I was here on Fantine both times that the Grand Army tried to take it from the Trade Federation during the first and second sieges of this miserable world. I lost my eye in the first siege, and that's why I don't particularly. That's one of the reasons why I don't like Mahina Kai. And then a year later, we were back, once more, and despite that, morale was fairly high because we had just learned that Commander Skywalker had killed Count Dooku, and word was that General Kenobi had taken the entire 7th Sky Corps after General Grievous. So everybody was convinced that the war was almost over, which was good because we were losing and losing badly. And then the order came down all the way from Chancellor himself. The Jedi were traitors, and we were to implement Order 66. So, in the middle of the battle, despite our losses, we turned our weapons on General Isudi. He died without even realizing what was going on. And he's going to pause for that long, for Tina to be react. However, Tina reacts to that.
How does Tina react?
Dun dun dun.
She's tight-lipped, arms still folded. She's definitely looks paler after hearing about all that. And she just says, "What about my mother?"
The detachment commander sent me and my recon kinetic element after the Padawan. I caught up with her on Hill 9. And if bring up the if we've got the hollow there, you can sort of point in the general direction. It's like I was the only one within a click, and until now, I thought she didn't know I was there. I had a clear shot, but I did not take it. I instead, reported that she was killed by the clankers during the battle. He's gonna fish out a necklace. He's like, you have to understand, we literally did not have a choice. Every clone was implanted with a behavioral inhibitor control chip like this. They made us completely incapable of disobeying orders. So when the order was issued, we obeyed. Luckily, mine was damaged apparently when I lost my eye. So I was already starting to question what was going on, even as we were shooting General Isudi. The medbot that pulled this out sometime later theorized that it had completely failed. So your mother was lucky. I'm not sure why you'd want to go to that wretched place.
I don't either. I just know I need to go.
Okay, so Luck is going to study Tina for a really long moment and then basically say, all right, then let's go find out what's there. I learned a long time ago to trust General ICD and his Padawan when they had gut feelings. Don't understand it, but I can trust it.
Daryl has been very quiet during all this. Has he said anything during the conversation at all?
I think he's somewhere between casually listening and wondering if he's remembered any of this in his adventures.
Well, some of the details I guess he would have remembered, but the specifics of Mahina Kai you didn't know of because of your previous failed area knowledge.
How old is Daryl?
Daryl?
Yeah.
He's like 135.
Oh, wow. He's a baby. I mean, for Wookiees. But, yeah, so he will at least probably recognize some, many of the names. Grievous, Doku.
I think Daryl will just mutter something about, so, are we going or what?
We're going.
Yay, an adventure. Time to get us a new vehicle.
Unless Bosco has to stay here to seduce his new girlfriend.
Bosco's thinking it might be a good time to be out of town because they can't ask me questions from not here.
It's also suspicious looking. So that's like screwed if you do, screwed if you don't, right?
Yeah. But he doesn't worry about those things.
He's overconfident. He's got it all under control.
Yeah, that's true. He's like, I completely convinced that chick of everything.
But I will say, if we can't, before we leave, if we can't do if Tina can't do some sort of, hacking type stuff, he's going to at least do his forgery skill or whatever skill to create a paper trail for his alibi.
Tina would be happy to hack things, and Haxer could do that. I think Haxer's actually got a better skill.
You can make those rolls.
Give me a sec.
An old busted ass Clone Wars transport.
Maybe. Get one of those cool all-terrain tactical enforcers. They're walkers.
I tried to fail. Glad I didn't roll on Tina's. She's a little rattled right now.
All right, so I don't think I need to make a roll.
Yeah, she's going to do some data doctoring, and if we can, I think try to sign it out to someone who is not even on planet anymore. Maybe see if it can lead them elsewhere.
Okay, so you make it a red herring.
Yep.
And I assume, Bosco, you're not going to be giving her access to the actual data servers and stuff. You're just going to give her the data she's after.
Yeah, Bosco's going to rely on her expertise. So if she wants access, he'll give it to her. If she tells him there's a better way, that's not his area. So he's just going to do whatever is recommended by her.
All right. So does Bosco have forgery?
He does.
It's probably a good time to use that skill.
Yeah, you're just crit hunting.
Yeah, he used it for when he was helping people escape from the oppressive empire.
Yeah, Tina is just as like a general principle for this. She's going to try to limit how much of like Bosco's access and whatever that she would need to make this happen, just to keep it from being traced back to him.
All right, so you have successfully forged by 3 and also hacking by 4. You have successfully altered the records that are passed to Nara relating to dispatches and so forth. So hopefully that should lead her to a dead end, or lead her somewhere far from you.
Yep. Preferably off planet.
It won't, but it'll be nice.
Yeah.
Maybe we can find an acclimator class. I mean, they only require, let me see how many hundreds of people. They only have a crew of 700.
We're going to need a couple of tarps to cover that up.
You're going to need a bigger crew.
But it would be cool.
All right, so you will leave Minerva via a single speeder, or you're going to take separate transports?
Well,
Are you going to take your ship?
what's going to be the easiest to get out of town without causing a ruckus?
Speeder.
Speeder it is.
I mean, a single, or do we need to split up? It's going to be easier to get out with individuals or a group. I guess if we go as a group, then the face man can talk.
I assume that you're going to be leaving from lower levels and stuff like that, so there's not that much scrutiny.
Ah, well, okay, there's that.
If you depart with the ship, of course, that's going to draw some attention, but people come and go from the city all the time.
Yeah, well, the ship, we're not going to be keeping that in town.
Well, okay, so you'd need to go to the ship if you wanted to use the ship. So, separate, together. Luck, you're the boss. You make the choice.
Yeah, since we're leaving from downtown, together's fine.
All right, so you will take off together. I will get the speeder piloting roll from Daryl, since you've already made the navigation.
Bosco, what's the right tandem?
Well, you're taking a land speeder, so you're fitting it all. Or unless you want to take your own.
Bosco calls shotgun.
In any case, however long it takes at the speed of the speeder, you will find yourself approaching the Mahina Kai Plateau. I'm not sure if does Luck have PTSD or anything like that?
No. Well, I mean, he probably should, but I don't have any disads that point towards that. I don't think. Let me double check.
That's an interesting question. What would that be?
So flashbacks?
Nope.
That's my first reaction.
In any case, you will arrive there and you will see the remnants of a battlefield familiar to Luck. You can see the long weathered remains of walkers and stuff. There is a command center, or the ruins of the Mahina Kai command center.
So Luck is gonna look at Tina and say, "Where are we going?"
You're in charge.
She's gonna look around and take it all in, and then where does her gut seem to be pulling her?
Give me your Is it intuition?
Yeah, it's IQ based. Do you want me to roll it in the box?
Actually, no need to roll. There's only really one good option. And no real bad options. You're just investigating. So
That's not true. There could be radioactive monsters out here. There probably aren't, but
Whose side are you on?
so as you
side.
as you walk through this battlefield landscape, Luck, you will see, half buried in dust and sand, the bodies of battle droids of various types and descriptions, and you also see the helmets and armor, skeletal remains of some of your fallen brothers that have sort of been lost to time.
Stay frosty with the droids. Can't guarantee that they're not all completely disabled.
So your natural inclination is to head to this command center. It seems to be the main structure that is mostly still intact. I will get perception rolls from people.
Vision or hearing?
That's
These are
the
vision.
very first time I've rolled tonight. Success by 2, by the way.
And those that succeed perception rolls, give me an IQ roll.
Did you say IQ?
IQ, yes.
Big bat fail by 1. Well, I'm glad other people didn't fail.
I don't know what I saw, but I saw.
Oh, wait. No. Nymph didn't fail.
I guess I was the only one that didn't fail.
No. Holy cow.
Hey.
Nice.
Ha!
Bosco
Alright, so-
sees everything.
You will notice that those of you that succeed your perception, you will notice that the battlefield doesn't feel totally abandoned. Those of that succeed your IQ roll, particularly Bosco, you get the feeling someone's living here.
Cool. We're going to get to shoot Ray. Oh, wait. No, she's not here yet.
Or at least, there's tarps set up to cover windows to, block the dust and light. Someone's living here. You will approach the command center. I guess you're a little bit more frosty, cautious.
Yep, because I'm kind of expecting some of the droids to be like in ambush mode.
Sand ninjas.
You will move closer and sort of stashed away in an area that has been sort of cordoned off. You will see one of these. Of course, there's no rider.
What the hell is that?
It's a crag snort.
I've never heard of a crag snort before.
They're all over Australia.
It is a Fantine beast
Are they
of
local?
burden.
Okay, then he would have probably seen them previously.
You would know that people ride them. Some of those that operate mines that are less mechanized have these things, and strapped over the side is where they would cart stuff. So everything's side carry on these
And they were
things.
also pretty good weapons platforms during the war.
For those that didn't use walkers and tech, of course.
when the tech broke down, yeah.
So there is a crag snort sort of in an area, and it's just doing its thing. It is about this time that you will hear the pew of a blaster being turned on behind you, and the voice, somewhat familiar to Luck, or familiar to all of you, and it actually sounds like Luck. And the voice says, "Trooper, you better have a very good reason for being at my home."
I'm going to turn to look at him while keeping the weapon not pointed at him.
Yep. Tina's got her hands up and she turns around and to see who's talking.
All right, you will see. This guy. Tina looks remarkably like Luck when he doesn't have his gear on. This guy is not in any armor. He is holding a rifle, and he's looking, like you're intruding. He's got his rifle pointed at you guys, probably
mostly at me.
Mostly at Luck. I don't know how troopers recognize each other, but they seem to know.
Outside of well, it seems like if they have something that is indicative, that's because I know in the Clone Wars sometimes they'd have different haircuts and sometimes some might have a tattoo or something like that, but they may just instinctively know. I don't know.
Well, they seem to. Let's have an IQ roll from Luck. The level of your success or failure will...
Success by 1.
All right, so you have some familiarity. There's obviously age and time. He's not in uniform, but this guy gives you the feeling of Arcade 0088, otherwise known as Loophole.
So Luck is going to tilt his head and he's just like, "Huh, you're still alive." And then with his free hand, remove his helmet.
Tina's going to say, "Luck, you know this guy."
Is that your
Of course
dad?
I know this guy.
So the rest of you are seeing like twins, sort of.
There are two Sean Connerys.
Normally I say all you pinheads look alike, but you two really look alike.
This guy looks more weathered. Life's been tougher for him than Luck.
I don't know. He didn't lose his eye.
Loophole will say he will lower his rifle, and he says, 336.
How you doing, Loophole?
Funny to see you here. Never expected anyone to be back here.
That makes 2 of us.
What brings you to this wretched place?
A dream.
Well, that's going to depend. Do you still have your inhibitor chip?
No. I never had one. Somehow, like always, I fall through the cracks.
Right. Well, she brought us here.
He looks
Tina
over
will give,
Tina.
Yeah, she'll give her disarming smile,
daughter.
honest face, and the little wiggly finger wave like, "Hi."
Meet the Padawan's daughter. Oh, that sounds like the title of a of a book or something. The Padawan's daughter.
He looks a little confused. What was is it Deanna? Deania? But, are you talking about Deania?
Tina just nods. It's my mom.
She was killed. How is this possible?
No, she wasn't. I lied.
You see, he sort of smirks, smiles a little. That's the only sort of emotion you've seen on his face at the moment, other than, what the hell are you doing here? I see. Well, I assume you're not here.
What are you doing out here?
I've been here since we pulled out. I didn't have the stomach for it anymore. After you know what happened. Something was wrong. He says, I assume you're not here to cause me trouble?
Tina will kind of look at Luck and then look back at...
disconnected from your
Uh-oh.
channel.
I think we lost somebody.
We lost Phil.
Okay. So Tina will look at Luck and then back at Loophole and say, no trouble. We're not looking to cause any trouble. I had a dream about the battle and my mother, and I felt like
joined your channel.
I felt like I needed to come here. I don't know why, but it was strong that I needed to come here.
Well, that is very odd, but I have learnt to accept the Jedi attune differently to things.
Tina just shrugs and said, I'm not a Jedi. From what I understand, my mother was a Padawan, like not even a Jedi either. So I don't understand any of this.
You wouldn't say that if you saw her fighting the tankers.
She was a brave one. She learnt well. And Master ISOD was a good and noble Jedi. And you can see that, thinking back, there is some guilt sort of triggers him. It's like, yeah, you see it sort of in his face.
Oh, yeah. Brave is one way to put it. Remember that crap on Kalinda?
He will sort of, yeah. Well, let's not stand out here. Come inside. I'm afraid I don't have much, but at least it is out of the elements.
That's fine. We have some. That's right, I have food tablets. I have no idea what food tablets do, but I have food tablets.
So he will lead you in. And let me bring up.
Are you the only one here?
Most
Any
of
of
the
the others
time,
get out?
the plateaus are not entirely abandoned. There are people that live out here, away from the trials and tribulations of the cities.
in the Bloody Empire.
For the most part, they don't cause trouble. So he will take you inside. You have to crawl in through some of the fallen structure and you step over some broken bits of building. Some of the building has collapsed, but he will take you into a room. There is a gonk droid. It is, well past its use by date, but it's still gonk. You see it's plugged in and it provides enough power for this place to have some lights. Every now and then they flicker, and it's a fairly basic affair. There's stuff lying about. There looks to be like dried meats and such that are hanging about, and there is something cooking. There's a smell. And he says, make yourself comfortable. Tina, roll curiosity or fail.
Or fail.
Okay. Actually, well, yeah, I'll do that in just a second. She will note the gonk, and she'll make a mental note that if she has time, she's going to see if she can kind of fix it up for him to make it run a little better. But she's going to go ahead and fail curiosity again. She's in an interesting place.
All right, so you will start looking around the room, and you can see there's, I'd say, sentimental items, I guess. There's a helmet that's been placed on a shelf. This is probably his helmet. On the the side of the helmet is 0088. Sort of, it's been scratched and well worn, but it looks like the helmet has gathered dust. It hasn't been worn in a long time. There's also a suit of armor that's sort of boxed away off to the side. You're looking at some stuff on shelves, and you will see something familiar. It is coated in dust. It's been on that shelf for a while.
She can't help herself. She's going to have it in her hands before she even thinks that it might be a bad idea.
All right, you grab it. You feel the weight. I guess there is some. You feel something right. It's like,
well, that explains that.
This was his. This was the master's.
Loophole, turning away from whatever he's cooking, he says, "Aye, little one, that was Master ISO-D's saber."
Does it work?
It did once. It was a useful tool, I give it that, but it has long since stopped working. I'm afraid I do not know the workings of the saber, so I cannot tell you why it has stopped. Be careful with it.
You're totally gonna look at the thing and turn it
Yeah,
on.
she is. And,
Bomb.
and new character. Yeah.
Yep.
No, she is gonna like do like an inspection of it and just see if she can puzzle anything out anything about it out, but it's probably not going to be something she understands.
You're looking at it, you turn it on, you hit the button, and there's like a spark of electricity or energy, but it just frazzles and the saber doesn't ignite, and then it's sort of dead. He says, yes, that's all it ever does. The blade will not ignite. I'm a little disappointed. It was a useful tool.
Yeah, my uncle has that problem.
Okay, Drill, can you give me a smell taste based reaction roll? And does Drill, is he a glutton or anything like that? Does he smell food and just want to eat? Is Drill AFK?
You need me to make a roll
Yes.
for eating?
Yes.
No, does Drill, you're smelling this food cooking, does he have gluttony or anything like that? Does he suddenly want to hook
No.
into some food?
But he's probably going to want to eat anyway. Yes, of course.
Give me a smell taste based perception roll, please. And give me an IQ roll.
Just did it.
All right, so Loophole will dish out some bowls and pour some of the stuff that he has brewing. He says, I'm afraid it's not much, but there's enough to share. And he'll sort of dish out these bowls as you all sort of sit down. Drill, your instinct. You smell something in the air, and your instincts are alerted. There's a smell of danger that sort of wafts in the air.
Okay. A smell. A scent.
A scent, yes. Your
Exactly.
natural
The stew
instincts.
isn't Wookiee, is it?
No, it's not Wookiee stew. This is not the food that's being cooked. It's something else. It's something in the air in general, as the breeze blows through this place.
Then I will go to the entrance and take a look.
All right. People will notice that something has, bristled the hairs on Darryl, and he has got up and
Darryl?
left.
Question mark.
Yeah, I'm just going to go outside and see what I can see.
Does Darryl answer Luck? I think Luck was asking Darryl what's going on.
He's basically like saying, what's going on in as few words as possible. Just have that, Darryl.
Tina's going to follow.
I'm just going to go where my nose takes me, like Toucan Sam.
All right, so no response. Darryl starts to walk outside without an answer. This, Luck probably knows a Wookiee's instincts are not to be dismissed.
Right. He's going to glance at Loophole, and as he's putting the bowl down, is like, anything odd we need to know about this area?
He sort of shakes his head. No, what do you mean? What's going on?
Don't know yet. Guess we'll find out here shortly.
So he will then notice that Darryl has sort of charged out. Instinctively, you'll see Loophole will grab his blaster and begin to look through a window, and he will say, "Damn!"
What?
It is about this time that you will hear the of the crag snort let out a moan. Darryl.
How'd that go again?
Don't ask me to do that too much. So Darryl, you will charge out, and let me make some room.
Just in time to get shot in the face.
All right, so you will, Darryl, you're the first sort of out, following your nose, and you will see this large beast.
Ew, gross.
Stalking the crag snort, approaching the crag snort sort of enclosure. It is not charging or anything like that. It's just moving slowly and stalking.
Do I know anything about
This is
Thranok?
This is size modifier 3, so it's quite big. +3.
Great. That's like Rancor size.
It's no size modifier 5 is a T-Rex, so this would be elephant, a little bit bigger maybe. Probably in terms of scale, it's probably the size of the crag snort, similar size. Since you've got a picture of the dude there.
Can I make an IQ check to sort of get a sense of if I fire a shot from my blaster rifle, will it scare this thing off, or what's the kind of... yeah, I'm kind of just curious about that.
That might be a survival.
Yeah, you could do a survival or naturalist, I guess. Or you could just try it.
Yeah, it's perception -5 or naturalist, same planet -3. I don't have survival or naturalist. So we'll go with perception -5. Oops.
All right, so you have no particular idea on that.
So I just pulled the damn trigger and put a few rounds in the air.
All right, so you'll pull the trigger. Everyone inside, still inside, that or is following drill out. You'll hear the sound of. Is it the bowcaster that you're firing?
No, it'll be the heavy blaster.
All right, so you fire the heavy blaster. You'll hear the sounds of blaster shots, and Darryl, the Thranok had its, it was low, creeping slowly towards the crag snort. Once you fire the blaster bolts, its head sort of, whips around into your direction, and it sort of locks eyes with you. There's a moment pause, and then it charges the crag snort.
I fire on the Thranok.
All right, no need to roll. You take a couple of shots. They will hit. About this time, everyone sort of emerges. I'm not going to use a combat map for this. I want to try and play it action and fast. So you'll take a couple of shots. It'll hit the Thranok. It doesn't seem to phase it much, and Loophole runs, sort of comes up to Darryl, and he will say, I don't know if Darryl, well, of course Darryl understands. He will say, "Your weapon is near useless on these things."
Darryl will make a displeasurable sound.
So you can see that it's taken damage. It's obviously been injured, but not significantly. For meta reasons, so you understand, this creature has injury tolerance, damage reduction 5 to energy weapons.
They shoot it in the eye.
That is an oddly specific adaptation of this creature.
It's tough.
Darryl's claws come out and he says, "Then it's the old ways, is it?"
Yeah, I was going to say, he has a knife, doesn't he?
No, he doesn't have a knife.
Oh, come on.
I break out my large vibro knife. Man, I am not very good with that thing.
So it is charging the crag snort. Loophole will.
So, quick question: did the clones or did the Grand Army run into these things in the past?
Let's have a universe reaction roll.
It is poor. Why didn't I hear it rolling? So I guess not.
No. When the base was here, it was probably too active, and these creatures were absent, would stay away. So you probably don't have much. You've maybe heard of them, that patrols had encountered them, and maybe there was casualties. They seem to be quite tough, scary. So Loophole will grab, or he has in his hand as he sort of charges past, and he will throw what looks to be a grenade of sorts in front of the Thranok, in between it and the crag snort. The grenade will go off, and there's an explosion, and this causes the Thranok to sort of skid and stop as dust and rock is thrown into the air. The crag snort will spook and start to react to this, and then the Thranok will then turn its attention to you guys. And I think, given that the time, that's a good place to leave it.
It has to end with a really big roar, and that's where you go, oh, Do the circle zoom onto the mouth as it's roaring.
It does roar in your direction.
Whoa! The
It's
camera
found-
shook.
It has a new meal on the menu.
Daryl may have just left a Wookiee patty on the floor.
Wookiee's back on the menu, boys.
Nice.
Right about now, it'd be really good to have a lightsaber.
I know, right?
But that's an energy weapon.
Maybe.
Nope, that's an energy weapon.
In any case, you don't have a lightsaber.
But I do have a knife.
I guess Loophole will also throw one of these grenades to Luck.
Okay.
But anyway,
What kind of grenade was it?
it is just a regular concussion grenade.
Okay.
So he'll throw one of these to you, and that's when the creature will roar and end scene.
Excellent.
All right, 2 points, everyone.
Yep.
I think I liked Luck's story, so I'm going to award Luck a bonus point for a nice,
thank you.
engaging story. I think that was good.
Excellent. Yes, it was.
Yes, I agree.
Thank you kindly. All right. Cool.
Anyone spending any points? Any questions?
Not yet.
Anything we need to take care of before we wrap it up?
After this, can you make sure to upload the crawl onto the blog like you did the previous two?
Yes, can do.
Cool.
I might have to wait till I get back home for that, though.
Oh, right. When's that
We'll
happen?
see. Wednesday.
Gotcha.
We'll see. I don't know how good my internets are here. So, uploading
All right. Cool beans.
uploading the stream to YouTube's like several gigs. I don't know if I want to be messing with that. But anyway. All right, if there's nothing else, we'll leave it here. Take this up next week. Let me find my script. So, if you are watching this and you have any questions, corrections, suggestions, or general hecklings, feel free to leave a comment or find us on Discord. Please consider liking and subscribing to our YouTube and Twitch channels. Thank you for watching. Olympus out.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Off you go.